in the Football Writers Association, we like to think our award is the main one, Footballer of the Year, certainly the oldest established. At the moment, although there are a few days left before our voting, we have a later voting deadline. Eden Hazard will certainly have my vote. I think he's been, not only has he been outstanding on the field from match one, basically. He's not had an ordinary game that I can think of. Not even an ordinary game, let alone a below par one.
Hazard has been inspirational for Chelsea, and his assists, his goals, his all-round play, and you know, I know that have been labelled a little bit boring, but whenever he picks the ball up, it's not.
Hazard absolutely deserves it. He's one of those players that do things that not many players in the world can do.
He's worked defensively in the way that, you know, if you look back at Deco at Porto and so on, Jose Mourinho always likes his players to, his creative players to be hard-working, and my word, Eden Hazard has fulfilled that requirement.
I think he's one of his kind in the Premier League that can twist and turn and create his own space, score with his left foot, score with his right foot, can set goals up. He's a match winner, plays in the big games. I find it very difficult to come up with any other answer than Eden Hazard. I think he's an excellent choice, and the best of this young man is to come. So he's got an incredibly bright future ahead of him.
He's been kicked from pillar to post because it's the only way to stop him. I remember, I think it was against was it Stoke or Sunderland, a guy actually ran off the field to foul him. I mean, unbelievable. And yet, you know, his attitude's been great. He hasn't overdone the falling or anything like that. I think he's been just remarkable, and frankly, it's a pleasure. I think a lot of the players must have had pleasure in voting for him, and I still certainly do when it comes to the football writers' vote.
Harry Kane, I would have voted that way around given the chance, and to do what he's done in the short space of time. Don't forget, the beginning of the season, he was behind Soldado, they signed for millions. He was behind Adebayor, who's had his own reputation, whether you like it or not, but has played at the highest level for some massive football clubs, Arsenal, City, Real Madrid. But to come out of that shadow, and he was given a chance by Pochettino, and it came in the Europa League, and he was scoring goals in that, he was third choice, and to force your way through at a side like Spurs as an English centre forward, and to go and have the season that he's had, takes something special. And I think he's a pleasure to watch. He's got an awful lot about him. He's still got a lot of improving to do, as you'd expect of a boy of his age. But I can't argue with that. I think the both choices are spot on.
As for Harry Kane, I mean, I suppose John Terry apart, I think John Terry was unlucky, you know, not to be shortlisted for the Players' Player of the Year.
I just think he forced his way in, possibly in training, possibly being in a manager's face all the time, and understanding what Pochettino wanted.
Harry Kane, you know, in the absence of John Terry, is you know, was the main challenger for the main award. So that's an example of what the impact that he's had in his first almost full season in the Premier League. I mean, looking back on somebody who's come in and hit the league with such impact from within, in other words, not a guy who's been bought for big money from abroad or with a big reputation. I go back to Andy Gray, who won the 2 awards way back in, I don't know when I was a lad. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic achievement by Kane. And as I say, you know, maybe in another year he'd have won both.
His finishing has been excellent. And when you consider it's his first full season, and I know what that's like for a young player, especially with the hype around him at the moment, he's done fantastically well.
You've got to trust the vote of the players, and these are the guys that come up against week in, week out. These are the guys that are up close and personal, that play against them. And they probably, most of them, put Harry Kane down as I wouldn't say as a minus, I'd just say that they probably have one choice, and that's going to be Hazard. So therefore, it makes a little bit more sense to me.